We are back with you live once again for another Johnny Torch Live broadcast. Broadcast number 164, Torch News Roundup number 142. Welcome in to a very hot and steamy Sunday afternoon. We're doing the show on a Sunday this weekend. Apologies for having to put off the show for a full 24-hour period, but sometimes those things just happen in everyday life. So welcome in, and a disclaimer early on here. I got to point out, I'm sure everyone's excited to hear about all the Comic-Con stuff. This is all the stuff this is the news of last week, basically. I had it all written out and ready for the Saturday show. Got busy at the last minute. We couldn't do it yesterday. So while everybody else is covering the topics that happened yesterday and last night, I'm going to be covering most of last week's news. And hopefully I'll be finished combing through all that news to get a Comic-Con. That's always the most fun broadcast of the year. Doing a Johnny Torch Live broadcast the week after the Comic-Con, because I usually can get at least 2 videos out of it, and that's probably what's going to happen here. But we're going to talk very little about Comic-Con here. We're going to get into that probably tomorrow, hopefully tomorrow. So be patient and stay tuned. Today we're calling this the return of the wokest, wokiest, wokeness. This is sort of a sequel to 2 weeks ago when I did the I'm fed up with SJW's topic. And we're going to get into that in just a moment. But first, I have to admonish you the usual YouTube niceties that most broadcasters say, which is to hit the like button. Please share the video when possible and hit that subscribe button. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers, and I lost 2 subscribers. I don't know how that happened. Maybe dead accounts. Who would give up watching this show on a weekly basis? I don't know. And hopefully I can get a couple more shows out. We did that the past couple of weeks. We did a couple of shows a week for like 2 or 3 weeks there, didn't we? We did the Spider-Man Far From Home review. If you haven't seen that, check that out. And I'm going to try. Last week we had a person in the chat room that I unfortunately did not notice. I'm putting the chat on the left side of the screen this time, so I might be able to see it a little more clearly. I think my notes were obscuring the chat last time, so if you want to be in the chat, I'll try to respond. Although it is difficult when I get on a roll for me to notice the chat. I just start talking and I just, it's abandon all hope. But we got that there. We got a lot of good topics here to cover. Again, most of them from last week. But let us get to them promptly. First off, though, check out the link in the description below, and you will find the link to our website, The Adventures of Bullets Bourbon Comics, The Adventures of Bullets Bourbon Private Eye. I had some good news about that the graphic novel has left the printer and is on its way to me. Looking very much forward to that. And we got some images upcoming for the 7th issue that we're going to show on our next broadcast. So be sure you tune in for that, and we will spend some time looking at the next issue. But for now, let us take a look at this week's news. All the news that's fit to print. All right, we're going to start off. Let's see. I got to get the appropriate image for you guys. All right. We've got some Dark Phoenix news. The Blu-ray is out. The Blu-ray and DVD. Because sometimes I get the Blu-ray, sometimes I get the DVD, depending on the extras. I might get the Blu-ray in this case because these extras don't sound too bad. Let's see. The Blu-ray and DVD is to be released September 17th. With deleted scenes with optional commentary by Simon Kinberg and Hutch Parker. Let's see, the deleted scenes are labeled Edwards Air Force Base. So I guess there was more to that return scene when they came back from space. Charles returns home. Again, I'm not sure where that fits in. Mission Prep. Beast MIA. Which might that have something to do with... I'm afraid I'm probably putting a little too much wishful thinking into this, that these are going to be any scenes of substance. Is this where Beast is meeting with a beaten up looking Magneto? Probably not. Charles says goodbye. I guess probably to Beast. Didn't he leave school to Beast? Probably that's what that means. Then there will also be a 5-part documentary, Rise of the Phoenix, which That's a pretty long documentary. I'd like to see if they talk about the controversy, which I doubt they will. The controversial reshoots and all the stuff going on behind the scenes with Fox getting bought by Disney. I don't know, probably not going to happen. How to Fly Your Jet to Space with Beast, and Scene Breakdown, the Fifth Avenue sequence, available only on digital. Plus audio commentary by Simon Kinberg and Hutch Parker. Again, I am, I suppose, cautious to say this, but this was my favorite time at the movies this year. Uh, I have to be honest. I really enjoyed Dark Phoenix. I understand its flaws and accept them all. I don't really understand why people would want this film to fail, but it seemed like a lot of people did. And I'm still hoping for the Kinberg cut, or at the very least, I was hoping that there would be more deleted scenes from that. I mean, I'm not necessarily one for, you have to reassemble, a Frankenstein of a movie, something that was already cut up and put away. You don't necessarily have to make a movie out of that, but just show me the deleted scenes so I can make up my own mind on whether they were worthy or not. But I doubt that's going to be. I think the MCU is going to try to sweep this movie under the rug about as much as possible. The beverage of choice today is, I was going to say Dr. Pepper, but it's a Dr. Pepper knockoff. It's like the store brand Dr. Bob. Calling Dr. Bob, Dr. Bob. Wasn't that the Muppets? Yeah, Rolf was Dr. Bob. Tune in next week when you hear Dr. Bob say. All right, so that's all the news here on Dark Phoenix. Are you interested in the DVD? You interested in the Blu-ray? You gonna pick this puppy up, or are you just about done with Fox X-Men? Not a whole lot of news about the X-Men in San Diego Comic-Con. Just taking a moment here to announce, of course, to the world that Avengers Endgame did in fact surpass Avatar and is now the #1 movie in the universe. It is now the most popular, I suppose. How would you say this? The biggest moneymaker, I guess, of all time. Of course, there's a lot of ramifications to this that are, I don't know, like for instance, if Avatar gets put back up into re-release, maybe they could overtake it. I mean, there's a lot of different avenues. Um, I'm happy for Avengers because I actually saw this movie. I didn't see Avatar. I really had no interest in it. And um, like I said, I'm not really the biggest fan of the movie. I thought it was okay at best. It's personal preference. I mean, I don't like seeing our heroes be killed. And even though Captain America didn't technically die, I mean, I did feel that was out of character for him. So again, it wasn't really, it wouldn't be my choice for the biggest moneymaker, who should be sitting on the throne as the greatest movie or what have you. To me, that should still be A New Hope. I mean, to me, that'll always be the best movie that was ever sitting atop the all-time greatest box office. But, these things, they come and go. I'm sure Endgame will be knocked down probably within 10 years. Something else will take its place. Maybe another Marvel movie. Who knows? It's probably not going to be Episode 9. I would like to think maybe another Star Wars movie would be that good. But anyway, kudos to Kevin Feige and Avengers Endgame for pulling off this massive defeat of James Cameron's Avatar. And the Avatar franchise is supposedly coming back. So that could be a title that they could top. Of course, you have to remember, I think Gone with the Wind is still the king of movies in terms of how many tickets were sold. I don't think that's ever been beaten. So we'll talk about that probably some other time. Let's see. Hunter Iggy has a comment here. What is your thoughts on woke female Thor? Oh, yes. We're going to talk about that stuff in detail tomorrow. Hopefully tomorrow. I mean, knock wood, I can get all my stuff, all my notes together. I'll just give the Cliff Notes version of it, though. I'm not crazy about the idea, obviously, because when Chris Hemsworth was to stick around in the MCU, and he's obviously going to be in Guardians 3, and then later on it was announced there was going to be a Guardians 4. I mean, a Thor 4, excuse me. I kind of thought that maybe they would hold off on the female Thor for like at least another phase. But apparently, I think Thor is only going to be a figurehead in the MCU at this point. I was kind of hoping he would be a strong presence. I think he is just going to be around to sort of hand the baton. And it's sad because I think that's kind of what they're doing with Black Widow too. Everybody was kind of getting excited. Oh, Black Widow is getting her own movie finally. Is this the start of a trilogy or something like that? But they're basically just going to hand off Black Widow's mantle to someone else, and they're just nice enough to give her, a full movie to do it, to give her a solo movie. And it's the same thing with Thor. He's getting one more movie, but that's probably it. That's probably all he's getting, and we're just going to have female Thor. And the MCU is going to be getting watered down just as much as the comics version has. So thank you for the comment, Hunter. And again, we'll talk about this in detail probably tomorrow. All right now let's take a look. The rumor is going around that War Machine is going to be getting his own Disney Plus show or miniseries. I don't know how many episodes he's getting, but there's supposedly, I think, between 6 and 10 episodes in these Disney Plus shows. Let's see. The series will be called War Machine, who is portrayed by Don Cheadle of House of Lies. War Machine is the 5th Marvel Universe show that is in the works for the Disney streaming service. Now, this is interesting to me because I honestly thought Don Cheadle's time was nearly up back in Civil War. I thought they were kind of like gracefully exiting the character because, Cheadle's getting a little up there. This is the same as Robert Downey Jr. You know what I mean? It's like kind of figured that they were going to sort of phase him out and he would just sort of be maybe more of a, guy in the chair, to use Ned's quote from Spider-Man Homecoming. But apparently they still have a lot more to say with War Machine. They're going to get him back in the suit, apparently. If the show's called War Machine, he's still going to be in the suit. I don't know. What do you think about this? Is this going to be interesting, or is this another sort of maybe them just trying to phase out Rhodey so that they can, move into the, as we're saying, the woke superheroes of Marvel? Let me know what you think about the War Machine television show. Okay, let's see. Let's talk a little bit more about, we're still going to stick with television. We're going to talk about the Arrowverse now. Now, some stuff has come out before Comic-Con. Some of this is probably from the Comic-Con panel, but we're reading up a little bit on Batwoman and what's going to happen here in the Batwoman series. Let's see. The villain introduced in the pilot, Alice, played by Rachel Skarsten, will be the big bad of the first season, but there will be more from Batman's rogues gallery that pop up throughout the season. Tommy Elliott, who ultimately becomes Hush, is one of them. Because you've seen so many different versions of Batman's villains, we're trying to find a different way in. That means seeing some of Hush's origin story. So apparently they're going to do the Hush origin in the first season. They're going to have Tommy Elliott before he became Hush, which I got to see. I think they're going to have the animated movie of that Hush. I don't know when that's coming out, but I got to look into that and give you some story about that. That's interesting because I actually have never read Hush, but I've like sort of thumbed through it, but I mean, I never really sat and read it yet. But it seems interesting. I mean, that seems like a pretty good story. Let's see. We're not going to repeat villains from the Arrowverse. We're using a whole new chapter of villains and heroes, said Dries. Dries, I don't know who this is. I don't have it in my notes. Apparently, this is the producer or the showrunner giving all this information. The series only just began shooting its first season, so there'll be more casting announcements to come. But Dries revealed that Burt Ward, holy heartbreak, Burt Ward, who played Robin the Boy Wonder in the 1960s Batman TV series, will be making an appearance. Now, that's interesting. That's interesting. They're bringing Burt Ward back. What the heck is Burt Ward going to do on a Batwoman show? Is he going to be like the mayor or something? That's kind of what they do usually with these sort of these Silver Age actors. That's interesting. I don't know. Again, I'm not really sold on Batwoman. From what I've heard, the people who seen the pilot are really trashing it. They say it's basically like a cosplay YouTube budget type flick. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm just going by what I've read by about 2 or 3 people that have seen the show, the episode anyway, the first show. I don't know. Maybe this is going to be a disaster, but I'm gonna give it a shot. The first couple episodes, anyway. I got so much stuff to watch now that I'm really gonna have to cut back on a couple of things. With Arrow ending, though, maybe that's another half hour of or 45 minutes of time I could spend on Batwoman. I don't know. Let's see. Dry said we're doing a deep dive into the DC universe. See, as for Batman himself, according to comingsoon.net, it could be a possibility. The panel noted that DC is very strict with regards to the Batman character, and the show hopes to focus on Batwoman and her own journey instead. Yeah, I wouldn't expect seeing Batman anytime soon, but the thing is, you have to remember, they did the same thing with Supergirl. It was like, well, we're not going to put Superman on television, and our next story is basically we're going to have 2 Supermen on television. These things change because you're not going to hold. I don't think anyway. I'm gonna be willing to place a bet that if I was a betting man, which I am, that Batwoman is not going to last a season without showing Batman to some degree. I don't know if they want to just use Bruce Wayne. I don't know if they're going to show some like they did with Superman and Supergirl, some silhouetted footage of a meeting between the two, which the fans of Superman hated that because it was like a cop out. We've got like a silhouette of Superman and Supergirl. I have a feeling that they're going to have to do something like that to get some interest in the show because I think it's just basically it's basically Batman in a wig. That's kind of what I described it when I first heard the idea. She's going to do everything that Batman does, but she's a woman. That's basically it. And I don't think that's enough to really win viewers over. Let's see. Batwoman. Let's see. The show will also feature villains best known for their tussles with Batman. In episode 3, we have a pretty serious Batman villain showing up, thinking, I'm going to effing kill Batman, Dries told Entertainment Weekly. So again, they're going to use some of the Batman villains. I hope I seriously hope they stay away from stuff like the Riddler and the Penguin and stuff that we've seen 100 times. Save them for the Batman movie, the Matt Reeves Batman movie. Let's see. Supergirl is slated to make an appearance on the show. We're going to see that bond evolve into a Kate-Kara friendship. So I guess they're trying to do what Ollie and Barry was in, Flash and Arrow. They're going to try to have that in Batwoman, sort of have the one episode where they cross over Batwoman and Supergirl every season, maybe. I don't know. All right, so that's about it. Let me know what you think about Batwoman. Are you interested in the show? Do you think this is going to work out? Batman in a wig. That's basically what I say. All right. Let's see. Next up we have, like I said, this is interesting. Superman is slated. Superman, can you hear me? Superman. Superman is slated to make a return to television by count them, two different actors next season on Crisis on Infinite Earths. Let's see. Deadline discovered that both Tyler Hoechlin and Brandon Routh will be suiting up as the Man of Steel for the highly anticipated crossover event to air this December. Routh, who currently stars on DC's Legends of Tomorrow, will reprise his role as Clark Kent Superman for the first time in over a decade, having originally played Superman in 2006's Superman Returns. In addition to his role as Superman, he'll also feature prominently as Ray Palmer / the Atom. So we've got Superman back, and I don't have it here in my notes, but I did see this afternoon they said that Brandon Routh will not be wearing the Superman Returns costume, which they kind of have a version of that on Tyler Hoechlin, right? He's kind of got that costume. I think they made the emblem a little bit bigger, and the cape is obviously different. But he's going to be wearing the Kingdom Come outfit. Now, this makes a lot of sense because I think they're going to try to make him sort of the Golden Age Superman in lieu of Christopher Reeve. I think if Christopher Reeve was still alive, they definitely would have pushed to get Reeve on probably as the Golden Age Superman. But, in lieu of not having Reeve or Reeves, George Reeves, we probably have to look forward to Routh as sort of our last elder statesman of Supermen. You know, the rest of them are pretty more recent. Glug glug glug. All right, excuse me. But yeah, this is good. I mean, I want to see Superman on television. There's still people holding out hope that Hoagland is going to get his own spin-off from the Supergirl series. I don't know. I think that's kind of too much to ask for in this climate where, you know, Superman is certainly not woke enough, and a lot of people are complaining that, you know, he's been sort of emasculated as it is by his appearances on Supergirl. So I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm glad to see that they are both coming back. I mean, I liked Brandon Routh as Superman. I thought he was a great Superman. I thought he was an even better Clark Kent, to be totally honest. So I kind of felt bad that he didn't get a better movie, but let's be honest. I know it has its fans, but Superman Returns was terrible. It really was. I can't believe I've seen that film. I think I've seen it in theaters like 3 times because I was so desperate for a Superman movie. Big Superman fan. I love The Man of Steel. They really haven't done right by him since Superman 2, really, right? I mean, I liked where they were taking the character with Justice League. I always say that. I thought Justice League wasn't a bad film, particularly for Superman, because he was portrayed pretty much the way I wanted him portrayed. But we got to see a Superman solo film or series that does justice to him. We still haven't seen it yet, at least in my opinion. Okay, so let's move on now to some more, slightly more well, we're gonna do some more topics here in the Arrowverse. I'm just gonna put up a picture of all three, and we'll talk about all the news that we have out now so far. Let's see. Let's talk about Arrow. Let's see. It's been confirmed that actor Ben Lewis has been up to series regular. He, of course, plays William in the future, the flash forward scenes of Arrow the past year. So he's going to be in every episode, which he pretty much was last year, wasn't he? I don't know. Catherine McNamara is also a series regular. Let's see. Lewis' character will factor into the upcoming season. The expanded roles of Mia and William strongly suggest the 2049 storyline will play a significant role in the show's conclusion. The 8th season of Arrow is currently scheduled to premiere on October 15th, 2019, and we'll see Stephen Amell, David Ramsey, Juliana Harkavy, and Rick Gonzalez return. They also had Katie Cassidy in that trailer. It's a very, very short trailer. It's basically just like showing all the moments from the past 7 seasons, and then maybe just like 10 seconds of brief glimpses. And you see Prometheus back. That's pretty interesting. He was a pretty strong villain. I don't mind them having him back, and of course Tommy Merlin coming back. Obviously, as a different Tommy from one of the other Earths, probably. And we see Katie Cassidy with that. I hate that cringy hairdo from. They used that hairdo from Smallville for the Smallville Black Canary. I hated it then too. Black Canary does not deserve a butch haircut like that. I've never liked that look on Black Canary. And to be honest with you, in the comics, they very rarely used it. And I don't know why they seem to always come back to it in live action. I think Katie Cassidy is also slated to direct an episode, if I remember correctly, hearing that. So she's going to be in it. Let me see. Hunter Iggy says, do you think Henry Cavill is still Superman, or will Brandon Routh or Tyler Hoechlin? Well, I don't know. See, the question is Henry Cavill going to go back to being Superman in the movies? There was a clip I seen on Twitter where a reporter asked him if he was still Superman, and he sort of benignly said yes. So they have a pretty strange situation where they're not saying that Cavill's out as Superman yet, but he, of course, not to spoil Shazam, he did not make that cameo in Shazam. So it is kind of confusing as to where he stands right now. But I would say he's probably, at least as of now, until I hear otherwise, I think he is still the movie version of Superman anyway. The television version, I would say, is still Tyler Hoechlin. Brandon Routh is going to play like an Elseworlds version of Superman. So that's about all I could probably say about that. All right, so that's Green Arrow. Gonna be sad to see the end of the Green Arrow, but I suppose maybe it's coming at the best time. I don't know. They say that Agents of Shield. It's been confirmed Agents of Shield is going to end next season, and that I don't know. I can see it. It makes sense to end Arrow because they really haven't been doing anything new. Even though I like what they've been doing, Agents of Shield still seems pretty fresh to me. I don't really see why they would end it, but again, I don't know. I mean, it depends on if you think you're out of gas, it's probably better to end it on a high note. All right, let's talk Supergirl now. We'll talk about the costume in just a little bit. We're going to save that for near the end because that's when I'm going to go on a rant, I'm sure. But Entertainment Tonight confirmed that Jeremy Jordan will indeed return for a 3-episode arc during the second half of Supergirl Season 5, following the eagerly awaited Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover. Now, they said last year that Jeremy Jordan was going to come back, but I didn't take it that it meant that he was only coming back for a 3-story arc. I thought it meant that he was basically coming back as a series regular. So it sounds like he's only coming back for some, for just one storyline. Um, Details on the circumstances behind Windshot's return are being kept under wraps for now. Jordan left the series after season 3 to return to his Broadway roots and shared a message after the final promising he would be back in season 4. But it seemed as though the writers ran out of time to revisit the character and saved him for season 5. Okay, meanwhile, TV Line is also reporting that Andrea Brooks, Miss Tessmacher, Miss Tessmacher is up to series regular for season 5, meaning she'll be getting into a lot more trouble as Eve Tessmacher as she leaves Lex Luthor's shadow and finds herself back in the hand of the mysterious Leviathan. Also, with all these characters coming back, we have a character leaving, Makad Brooks. Makad Brooks, who plays Jimmy Olsen, is leaving the show. Let's see. Entertainment Weekly revealed that the actor is bowing out of the CW show this season. Naturally, the CW is keeping quiet about what's going to happen to Supergirl's best friend, but it sounds as though the door is being left open for him to return at a later date. Showrunners Robert Rover and Jessica Queller said, "We love Makad and we're sad to see him leave the show. As a regular, he'll always be part of our Supergirl family, and we look forward to James returning to National City at some point to visit his sister and super friends." I don't know. I'm imagining that this is probably Makad Brooks' choice, but they really have had nothing but trouble trying to find something for him to do throughout the past. I mean, every season they've had to reinvent the character. I mean, like I've gone over this before, but I mean, like the first season he was sort of the object of Supergirl's affection. Then, like season 2, he was the boss. I know he was Guardian. Then season 3, he was the boss, taking over Cat Grant. It's like they try to reinvent him every single season, and there's just so much they can do with him. I actually liked him as the Guardian because it kind of felt like it gave him purpose. Otherwise, he's sort of just like the boyfriend or the would-be boyfriend or the guy running the show, the guy running the Catco. Not very interesting, which means he's really an extemporaneous character that they could just get rid of. So I think it's probably for the best that they do this. All right, just briefly talking about the Supergirl trailer because I only seen it once. Again, we're going to talk more about Comic-Con stuff probably tomorrow, but it looks like the Leviathan is going to be the villain. There is no like big bad, but it's showing how technology is sort of brainwashing people. And again, Supergirl always seems to have some kind of social justice, relevant topic. I guess this is what they're trying to go for. Lex Luthor is cited again, so hopefully he'll have a big part to play. John Cryer, I thought he was exceptional. I thought John Cryer did a great job in Supergirl. That's why a lot of people are saying Supergirl was good last year. I think they're looking at the season with rose-colored glasses, but if you judge by the Lex Luthor slash Red Daughter episodes, they were very strong. So if they do go back to Luthor as a villain and try to build on that, I think it could potentially be a pretty good season. All right, let's see. Rounding it up here. Well, we don't really have anything about the Flash. I seen the Flash trailer too. Um, I don't remember. I'm working on that stuff for tomorrow, so maybe we'll talk about tomorrow. If you want to talk about the Flash, Remind me tomorrow, and we'll see if we can. I'll look at the trailer again tomorrow. Well, there wasn't a whole lot of trailers out, but there was some stuff like the Picard trailer that was pretty interesting. We'll talk about tomorrow as well. All right, let's see. Let's talk about Barbie for a minute. Yeah, I'm sure all the kids are excited about Barbie. Well, the little girls are anyway. The little boys are probably more excited about Margot Robbie. And so this is, I talk about this probably more for a gratuitous shot of Margot Robbie that I get to look at for a couple of minutes here. But let's see. Multiple sources are reporting that Warner Brothers have enlisted the services of Academy Award nominated filmmakers Greta Gerwig of Lady Bird and Noah Baumbach. He's a Baumbach. The Meyerowitz stories to co-write their upcoming live-action Barbie movie, which has Margot Robbie from Birds of Prey attached to star as the titular doll. No comment. While it's still expected, while it's still early in the process, the studio is also reportedly eyeing Gerwig to direct the project, which is expected to hit theaters May 8th, 2020, 1 week after the rumored release date of Marvel Studios' Black Widow. In addition to starring, Robbie will also produce the feature along with Tom Eckerly, Robbie Brennell, and Jose McNamara and Jan Kriesel. So yeah, there you go. Who else could play Barbie but Margot Robbie? I mean, come on, let's go. Let's go. I'll fight you. I mean, wasn't it Amy Schumer up for the role at one point? I mean, come on. You know it wasn't going to happen. And you put Margot Robbie in that role, and now this film will get made. And I hope it's good. I hope it's not going to be a lot of SJW stuff. You know it's going to be. You know it's going to be. It's going to be woke. It's going to be woke out the wazoo, probably. But let's hope that little girl's got something to look forward to maybe now with a Barbie movie. Who's going to play Ken? Ken is not even, I don't want to say anything, but I am open to the possibility of playing Ken. Just saying. I don't know. Give me a DM if you want me to play Ken, Warner Brothers. All right, let's see. Let's check out Shazam 2. There's been a little talk, not a lot, a little talk about Shazam 2. Let's see. Shazam 2. I got the DVD yesterday. No, did I get the Blu-ray? I forget. No, I got the DVD because Warner Brothers is cool that way. They'll give you like most of the extras on the DVD, so you don't have to buy the Blu-ray. Just a little heads up there. Let's see. Star Zachary Levi made an appearance. I always forget it. Is it Levi or Levi? I think it's Levi. Is it Levi? I don't know. Put it down in the comments. Is it Levi or Levi? Levi like the pants? I think so. I always say Levi like the Bible. Levi, the son of Levi, the son. Who's the son of Abraham? No, Jacob. Yes, Levi, the son of Jacob. All right. Star Zachary Levi made an appearance at the CCXP Cologne convention in Germany, where he gave an update on the expected sequel to the superhero movie that hit theaters in April. According to comicbook.com, Levi, 38, said he's been in talks with the studio to finalize the concept. I know that I'm going to have a conversation with my bosses pretty soon about what the idea is and what we're going and where we're going with the new movie. But all I really know is that New Line, our studio, and Warner Brothers, our parent studio in DC, and our producers and executives and everybody who's involved in all of the decision making, they're all very happy with what we did. They want to do even better the second time around. They're crafting a story right now as we speak about what the sequel is going to be. The only other thing I know is that they want to make it as soon as possible because those kids are growing up like weeds. So if we don't do that in like the next 2 days, they're going to be full-grown adults. Yeah, it's true. That's kind of the benefit of having child stars in the movie is that they don't sit on the sequel. Like for instance, Aquaman is going to take like 3 years. I'm pretty sure they're going to want to get these movies cranked out like every other year. Levi starred in the movie alongside 16-year-old Asher Angel and 15-year-old Jack Dylan Grazer. A Shazam Black Adam crossover is guaranteed money for Warner Brothers, but we're going to have to wait a while before that becomes a reality based on recent remarks from Levi. He explained the characters won't meet until both Black Adam and Shazam 2 have been released. Levi says, I can say that as far as I know, Black Adam is not going to be in the second Shazam because the idea is that they want to go and do a standalone Black Adam movie first. Then it would kind of be, if we do a third Shazam and a second Black Adam kind of like that, that's where we would meet. A meeting between these two need to feel like a big deal because He's like the ultimate bad guy for Captain Marvel, Shazam. Like Shazam and Black Adam, they're doppelgangers, right? The evil twin to who I am. So that's got to be like the final battle. He calls himself Captain Marvel there. That was a little cagey. That's a little cagey, Zach. You know, it's hard to forget, that he's Captain Marvel now that we got to call him Shazam all the time. Like I said, it doesn't bother me, but uh, so yeah, I think they're pretty much setting up Mr. Mind to be the bad guy for Shazam 2. Black Adam, I guess he's going to get his own solo movie. I still don't really understand how that's going to be a big hit. It's very hard to make a solo movie from a villain. But again, I don't know. I can see trying to save, your heavy hitter for the third one. Especially after they already planted the seeds for Mr. Mind at the end of Shazam, the first movie. Um, Spoiler warning. I guess I'll late for that. All right, so let me know what you think about Shazam 2 in the comments below. And moving right along here, we're doing pretty good. I got to throw this in. There was that story going around a couple of weeks ago when Marvel showed this 4 with a spider crawling across the web, and everybody was excited. Everybody was saying, "Oh, Raimi's going to do a Spider-Man 4 comic, and it's going to be so great and everything." Come to find out, it was basically J.J. Abrams' son used a little nepotiz to get the gig writing Spider-Man for a couple of issues or something. I don't know. But Sam Raimi, the venerated Sam Raimi, director of the original Spider-Man trilogy, was giving an interview, and he expressed regret that his Spider-Man 4 has never come to fruition. Because I'm a fan of Raimi, I'm going to read these comments with a heavy heart and with a quivering lip. I think about it all the time, he admitted while promoting Crawl, which I guess is his next movie, I don't know. It's hard not to, because each summer another Spider-Man film comes out. So when you have an unborn one, you can't help but think what might have been. But I try to focus on what will be and not look into the past. So again, very sad for us Raimi fans that we never did get our Spider-Man 4. We never got our Raimi Spider-Man 4. I don't know if it would have been good, Spider-Man 3 I liked. A lot of people don't like it. They kind of shoehorned in Venom against Raimi's wishes, but the idea is that he was going to have the Vulture be the next villain, and a female Vulture would have been, a new character created solely for the movie. It's kind of disheartening. I was always hoping they were going to pull the trigger on the Lizard. Remember the guy that played the Lizard? He was like in every movie, but he never really transformed or anything. I was hoping Raimi was going to pull the trigger on that, especially with his horror background. That would have been sweet. But instead, we got the Goomba Lizard from The Amazing Spider-Man. Go figure. All right, so again, with a heavy heart there, yeah. All right, we're going to talk a little bit about, this was a big story last week. We're getting into the final stretch here. This is a big story. Woke casting for 007, James Bond number 25. And the big question is Lashana Lynch going to replace Daniel Craig as the next 007? Well, yes and no. Let's see. Phoebe Waller-Bridge's rewrite of Bond 25's script will see the 31-year-old Captain Marvel actress. Now, this is the woman that played the mother of the someday to be Captain Marvel. What's the Black Captain Marvel's name? I can't remember right now. Monica Rambeau, right? So this is the mother of Monica Rambeau in Captain Marvel. All right, let's get that all straight. It's kind of tough, but I got it. All right. According to the report, the movie features a pivotal scene at the start of the film where M says, "Come in, 007," and in walks Lashana, who is black, beautiful, and a woman. Let's see. Lynch's role was being kept under wraps, so there is some speculation if she may be playing another agent, if not 007. I don't know what that means. This is garbage tier. Let's see. All right. So first off, let me just put all the cards out on the table here. Now, I know we're pretty sure that she is not playing Bond. She's playing 007. In other words, James Bond, Daniel Craig's Bond, is retired at the start of this movie, and she gets his code number. And he eventually gets pressed back into service, and he's probably going to take back the mantle of 007, or if he doesn't, he's still James Bond. So a lot of people complaining that the next Bond is going to be a woman. It's not really that Bond is going to be a woman. It's going to be 007 is going to be a woman. This is sort of the slick stuff that SJWs do when they're appropriating a beloved character, a beloved cis white male character, is they basically will just come in with a new version and take the title away. Basically like what's happening with Thor in the MCU. But in this case, it's a little bit easier because she's not taking the name; she's just taking the title, so to speak. So again, he's not being replaced in so much as there's going to be a female Bond. He's being replaced in as much as there's going to be another 007, at least in this movie. Let's see. The 25th Bond film, which is being shot in Italy and the UK, has been plagued by difficulties beginning in October 2015 when Daniel Craig said he would rather slash his wrists than play Bond again. A little dramatic, huh, Craig? A little dramatic. Maybe Bond is already being played by a woman. I'm not sure. It sounds like a pretty tough job to me. Yeah, you romance the ladies, run around with a gun. That sounds like something worth slashing your wrists over, Daniel. I got to hand it to you for that comment. But all right, yeah, it's not all sunshine and candy canes, I guess. To play an action hero, there's probably a lot of weight training and this and that. Maybe they got him in a bad mood. I don't know. I'll back down on my on my comments. Okay, rumors swirled that Idris Elba was a possible replacement until executive producer Barbara Broccoli said in an interview last fall that Bond was created male and she intended to keep the character male while adding more female characters to the story around him. Let's see. Phoebe Waller-Bridge, which, you probably remember her as the insufferable L377, something like that, from Solo, the droid that was the Lando's supposedly lover. I don't know. She is the one writing the script or punching up the story of the script. Let's see. New leaks from the production suggest that it was Waller-Bridge's idea to introduce Lynch as the new 007, and the script will explicitly call out Bond for his dinosaur mentality. Now, hold on for a second. Time out. Isn't this something we did like 25 years ago with the Pierce Bronson era? Didn't Pierce Brosnan's 007 have a female M, Dame Judi Dench? And she called him out as being a dinosaur. Didn't we go through all that already? I don't really know what's to be gained by them continually, beating up this dead horse that, he's a dinosaur, because that's sort of his, love him and leave him and gets the job done whatever way possible. It's kind of inherent into the character. Now, I always said I have to preface this by saying I'm not a huge Bond guy. I mean, I've seen probably a good 75% of the movies. But it wasn't something near and dear to me as a kid, and so I can't come to this from a place of like outrage as much as I would if it was something that I really cared about. Sort of like I also feel the same way about Terminator. I mean, I know a lot of people are beating up that movie because there's they're sort of going woke with that as well, and I feel badly for the people that are big fans of that franchise. I just seen T2 and I like that one, but I never really got into the other ones. I saw the first Terminator like out of order so many times, like just different parts of it, that I probably seen the whole film. And Terminator 3, I actually made an attempt to sit down and watch like the first half hour, and then I got bored of it. But these franchises, that's the whole point here of the Wokey Wokness, is that they're coming for your franchise. It doesn't matter what the franchise is. It doesn't matter if it's a beloved franchise like 007 that's gone back over 50 years. Doesn't matter if it's something that came out 2 weeks ago. They're going to take the franchise and they're going to make it what they want it to be. They're going to put their political agenda into it. They're going to do social justice politics. It's got to stop. Stop the insanity. This is why I posted the thing, the network guy, Peter Finch. I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take this anymore. It just gets to a point where I'm just so fed up of seeing this every day, a different story. Ariel's going to be black, and 007's going to be female, and you know, Mary Jane is black, and you know, there's no more redheads in Hollywood. And next up, we've got Supergirl having to put on pants. We'll talk about that in a second. Oh man, I get sick of having to look at this stuff every day, and it just gets, you know, the old expression, I've had it up to here. I've literally had it up to here and then some. It's like, can't they just leave these franchises alone? That's what made people fans of these franchises and why they've endured for 40, 50 years, is because people love them as they are. Oh, let me just finish this one and we'll get to the Supergirl one, because that's really going to set me off. All right, let's see. The source says Bond is sexually attracted to the new female 007 played by Lynch and tries his usual seduction tricks, but that he's baffled when they don't work. Wow, can you imagine that? Someone is able to resist James Bond. I'm pretty sure that must have happened at some point during the past 50 years. The insider also says that the term Bond girls has been replaced with Bond women. Does that really matter? I mean, that's kind of where I think we're going to be with Supergirl next season, and they're going to have to call her Superwoman. They kind of skirted that by trying to have feminist Cat Grant dub her Supergirl, but I don't know. We'll see. This is a Bond for the modern era who will appeal to a younger generation while sticking true to what we all expect in a Bond film. There are spectacular chase sequences and fights, and Bond is still Bond, but he's having to learn to deal with the world of #MeToo. So I'm sure that's what all fans want to see. They want to see Bond come up against Me Too. They want to see him getting called in for his. They want to see him get called in by the boss for his womanizing, and you know, he's probably going to have a lawsuit. He's gonna have his name dragged through social media, and I'm gonna copyright right now the hashtag I stand with Bond. Okay, because I'm sure he's going to have to be you know, he's going to have to deal with a court case at some point. Bond 25 is set to hit theaters on April 8th, 2020. Are you going to tune into this? You going to see this movie? I don't know. I saw Skyfall. I didn't see the last one. I don't know. Like I said, I'm a fair weather Bond fan. This is not exactly exciting news to hear, you know, for a franchise that's lasted for 50 years. It's probably going to go down. But of course, like I said, Barbara Broccoli, who's in charge of this, has already gone on record saying that they are going to keep Bond male. Eva Green, who played, well, she was in Casino Royale. I can't remember the name of the character right now. She also went on record saying that Bond should stay a male. So I'm probably 90% sure that this actress is not going to take over the role of Bond afterward. But I don't know. You know, you can't put anything past the wokeness of this day and age. Every single character has got to be woke. You know, it's pretty sad. Okay. All right, here we go with our final story of the evening or afternoon or morning, wherever you may be and wherever you are. Thank you for tuning in. But let's see. Supergirl has got the wokest wokety woke costume of them all. Now, this happened earlier this season on Johnny Torch Live. We covered Wonder Woman's woke suit. You can go back, that's like 4 episodes ago, something like that, where they put Wonder Woman in the sort of suit of armor from neck to toe, and you know, a lot of people, every single time something like this happens, there is just like a gush of on social media of praising, oh, it's so beautiful, it looks wonderful, I can't believe they finally did this and this and that. I can't understand why people have that kind of reaction to these things. When you take something that is an icon that was perfect as it was, why do you feel the need to change it? Now, in this case, they gave Supergirl pants. Now, Supergirl probably in the comics has changed her costume a half a dozen times. They've done different things to it. Most of the time, she's stuck with the cheerleader outfit, is what I call it. You know, basically the little cheerleader skirt. You know, it sort of evokes youth and, you know, sort of, you know, the youthful exuberance, so to speak. And I think that's also something that Melissa Benoist talks about. She wanted Supergirl to mature. Of course, the character is still named Supergirl, so you know there's that. But yeah, this is very disappointing for me because I did a video years ago at this point called The Death of the Superheroine Costume, where the whole reason why they make these drastic changes where these superheroines have to be covered from neck to toe is because the dreaded male gaze. It has to be 90% less male gazy in this woke, environment that we have now for pop culture. Every superheroine is wearing a generic cat suit. Now, some people have tried to say that maybe this is a move to try to emulate the popularity of Captain Marvel. I don't really think that has anything to do with it. I think this is basically just for that reason alone. Now, again, they were already going woke as it was because they had to have Supergirl wear these thick black stockings so it would minimize any appearance of her bare legs, which, of course, shouldn't be something that is considered, you know, disgusting and disgraceful. Uh, let's get to the copy here, and then I'll just rant some more. But let's see. Speaking with Entertainment Weekly, Benoist expressed her enthusiasm about finally getting out of the skirt. We've been talking about pants in season one. I'm surprised they didn't do it in season one, but I think they were hoping to get the show off the ground, and they figured, look, we get too woke. We've seen what happened with Wonder Woman. They did a television pilot for Wonder Woman where she was in pants, and then I think they did sort of like a an homage to the original costume at the end of that pilot, but and it didn't go too well. And they kind of tried to learn from that. Let's keep it looking the same. Let's see. Every time a writer from the show has come up and it's freezing cold in Vancouver, I'm like, guys, please, can I not wear tights? I love Kara's old costume. I haven't changed it because it so works, and I think it is very Kara. I've always felt that until recently. I'm like, something's got to give. So again, I've heard this too. It's the excuse has been Vancouver's so cold, and she doesn't want to be cold, and this is. I have to admit now, I have come across this before because when uh, Green Arrow actor Stephen Amell, he did the one season with the bare arms, and he complained that the bare arms are too cold, and that's the reason why he wanted the Arrow costume to go back to sort of its roots and where it's like a full costume. And I complained then. I said, you know, come on, Amel, don't be too much of a baby here. I mean, you want to get the comic accurate look. So I'm not going to be any different with Benoist. I mean, you have to kind of suck it up and be like, this is the costume. This is what I signed on to. I said the same thing for Amel, and I'm going to say it to her. I mean, you got to suck it up. This is the costume. Now, again, she's wearing black stockings. I mean, that's not exactly like her legs were completely bare as it was. I mean, Amel didn't even have that. He was just basically bare armed. She wasn't really bare legged. She had on stockings that were kind of, they were so thick they were basically tights. So it's not exactly like, she was out there daring a case of hypothermia. It's basically just an excuse, I think. It just, an excuse based on convenience. You know what I mean? It'd be more convenient for her, and so on and so forth. And yeah, I just, it's just wokeness. And again, this is something where they're ruining franchises by taking apart the iconic looks of these things. Now, some people try to say and try to lampoon like, "Oh, this is such a big deal to you," but yeah, it is. It is a big deal when you take the core components of the character and you take that iconic look away. It's very difficult to hold on to that feeling of the character being the same. The look, I've said this before, especially in the case of race changes as well. The look is 50% of the identification. If the character does not look the same, you don't have the same connection to it. I think you could say the same thing with like, well, in the case of Mary Jane, it's a little bit different. Not only does she not look the same, but the character acts completely different. It's almost the same thing with Jimmy Olsen. They did a complete personality overhaul on him as well. So those are not great examples to go to, but when you don't have that visual uh, identification, you're taking down the character a peg or two. And in the same way, Supergirl is on its last legs, no pun intended, so to speak, the series as it is, because it is so woke, it is so gender studies, it is so, you know, sadly SJW with its political correctness and its storylines that are Orange Man bad, that this really isn't necessary. I mean, if you want to keep the viewers, you want to win viewers over, don't worry so much about giving Supergirl pants. Worry about giving us a good storyline this year. Give us a good villain. Give Supergirl a big robot to punch, like I famously said all last season. Give us something good and exciting to be looking forward to for this season, and not trying to take away the iconic look for the sake of, well, now she's less male gazy. Now she can hold her head up high because these ugly, disgusting men are not looking at her legs. It's just embarrassing. That's not the way that the character was created back, whatever it's been, 70 years now. It wasn't created to be sort of this fetish character for a male gaze or something. You know what I mean? Supergirl is not Vampirella. You know what I'm trying to say? It is the epitome of innocence. At least to me, Supergirl has always been the epitome of innocence. Now, I know they've tried to change that a little bit in more recent years. They've had Supergirl in Smallville be sort of hot to trot, and so on and so forth in the comics. But to me, Supergirl is sort of the kid sister of superheroes. You know what I mean? She's supposed to personify, um, sort of that young innocence, sort of the same way that a young Robin did. The original Robin, anyway, Dick Grayson, was sort of that kind of youthful optimist, and it paired well against Batman, who was sort of a jaded, Cape Crusader. Well, let me finish reading the copy here. Let's see. The new costume could pay off quite well in the action department, as Benoist will have a wider range of motion while shooting scenes as the Girl of Steel. It also represents how much Kara has changed and grown since the inception of the series. She says, I just think it's more adult. Part of my goal in this whole series for whenever the show ends, I just want there to be a very clear arc for this character, that she evolved as a woman and found her femininity and her adulthood, just a self-discovery. Again, this kind of reminds me that they are they are counting out time now at this point. They know that the show is kind of on weak footing, and they are kind of just trying to wrap it up and show that she's going to be Superwoman. Again, this show had so much potential. The first season, you know, there was the feminist trappings and so on and so forth, but it did start off pretty strong, and it just collapsed when it came over to CW. Very sad. And again, I love Melissa Benoist as Supergirl. I think she's fantastic. I just wish she had better writers. I wish they actually gave her a storyline. It is pretty sad. It's sad to me anyway. And again, well, let's touch on the hair for a second. They also gave her a new hairdo. That's sort of a woman's prerogative. I don't necessarily have a big issue with that. I think if they were going to give her a new hairdo, they should have done it in her guise as Kara. I don't think they really should mess with the look of Supergirl. Sort of keep Supergirl's look the same. You want to change up Kara's look maybe, or something would be fine. But it doesn't look bad, the hairdo. That doesn't bother me too much. Let's see. And finally, Entertainment Weekly has confirmed that Benoist will direct the 7th episode of Season 5, which is set to air sometime in 2020. She tells the trade, I've been wanting to direct since Season 3, but couldn't last year because of scheduling conflicts, so David Harewood did it first. I just felt really drawn to it for a couple of seasons now, just because you know the show so well, and you get to know the character and the world, and the tone of the show so well that you can't help but envision certain scenes in a certain way. I want to play with that. So, good luck to her. Hopefully she's gonna, you know, bring something to the show with her directing that it seems like has been lacking the last 2 or 3 seasons at best. All right, so let me know what you think in the comments below. How do you feel about Supergirl now sporting 90% less male gaze with her pants as part of her Supergirl costume? Part of the reason why the skirt was so important was that, because people are like, well, what is the big deal? I know a lot of people would probably think, well, what's the big deal, really? I mean, what's the big deal? Part of the whole thing is the identification. You know what I mean? Now she just looks like a woman wearing Superman's costume. You know, she needs to have her own identity. Now, that's not to say, well, if they painted it pink, would that be okay? No, no, no. The idea, though, is that she had her own identity. She had her own personality. She brought her own touch to the costume. You know what I mean? That it was evoking Superman's costume because, she at least supposedly looks up to him in this CW verse. Of course, it seems like it's the other way around, but it was originally supposed to be that she sort of looked up to him as her cousin, like sort of a big brother, and kind of wanted to sort of carry on his legacy as well. But again, see, you're just basically taking a female, putting it into the male character, and just adopting it. That's kind of what it looks like here when you just put her in Superman's costume and sort of tailor it to fit her. It's not feminizing the costume and making it feminine, like putting in a skirt would. It's basically just putting her in Superman's costume. So again, let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you for joining me here for another Johnny Torch live broadcast. Hope you enjoyed it. And stick around. We'll try to get another one done tomorrow. Again, scheduling has to be there for me to do it, but I am working on all the information we got out of San Diego Comic-Con last weekend, or this weekend. I guess it's still the weekend. And we'll be putting together that show as soon as possible. And so, until next we meet, this is Johnny Torch reminding you once again, keep that flame burning brightly, and I'll be with you again real soon.